And in this call today, I am glad to have been joined by a current scholar who is also benefiting from the WMI scholarship. And at the end of my presentation, I will invite her to give you, a real-time experience of how she went through the application and how things are going on with her studies being supported by the WMI. I think that will be a very nice spice for this discussion. And then after that, we will open it up for you who is interested or who wants to help a relative or a friend to now ask if there are any questions regarding the presentation or the scholarship. In case we will be able to answer you straightforward, we will. If there are things that we may need to check with the WMI board, we will also ask and confirm. But we believe we will be able to answer you most of your questions. So I would like to thank Esther KG, who is in this call, and I appreciate her for accepting to co-host this information session with me today. So our presentation for today will have a few things. I'll tell you just very basic information about the Wells Mountain Initiative, and then I'll show you a few of their results, the impact of their work, particularly regarding scholarships. Of course, they do many other things apart from supporting needy students. And then I'll also tell you briefly what does it feel or what does it mean to be a WMI scholar. And then I will delve into a bit of the application process. I will not go into so much details, just to provide you a few hints. So before I tell you about the WMI, myself, I applied to this scholarship in 2012. And I was so lucky that on the first attempt, I made it and I was selected, and they started supporting my tertiary studies, my bachelor's degree, from September of 2013 until I graduated in 2018. So that's just about how I went through it. I'll be sharing a few more things about my process, my application, and so on as the presentation goes on. Please, I recommend that you have a notebook, maybe a piece of paper and a pen, so that you note down whatever would be very helpful for you or for someone else that you think you need to always remember. As Bida said, you will have access to these resources anyway. So if you see my shared screen very well, on your left side of the screen, you see two people. So these are Mr. and Mrs. Wells. So these two generous American people who are the founders of the WMI. As I will tell you in the next slide, it was founded in 2005. And then in 2006, they started supporting their first ever student called Victoria, this lady here. This lady in the middle is a daughter to these Wells. Her name is Wells. And the story is that Jordan Wells was studying in Ghana, and they were studying with those of Victoria in a certain course. And then she noted the struggles that Victoria had. She interacted with her parents. So Mr. Wells is a seasoned attorney in the US, lawyer by profession. And so the daughter interacted with the parents about the story of Victoria, and then they started supporting her through her studies. And when Victoria graduated, then the parents, the Wells themselves thought, oh, why don't we make this a bigger deal? And then later in 2006, they picked their second student, Mr. Akoela Maxwell, also a Ghanaian. And then henceforth up to today, we are talking of around 640 students already supported, either graduated or still ongoing with the studies supported by the WMI. And this is the beginning of everything. So this is a picture of the three people in 2006. And then fast forward in 2017, the three people again, and currently Jordan Wells is one of the executive directors of the Wells Mountain Initiative. Very grateful people, the Wells. So like I already mentioned, it used to be called the Wells Mountain Foundation, WMF, okay, since it was founded in 2005. But over the years, they went into registration and then they decided to call it an initiative. And now it is called WMI, Wells Mountain Initiative. The idea was really to help young people in the developing world by leveling the global playing field for education, opportunity, and justice. So that was the basic idea of coming up with the WMF, now WMI. Their website is here. You can always log in and read. And I recommend, if any of you in this call is really interested to know more, please browse their website for every little piece of information that you will know. What I have prepared in this presentation is just a small bit that I believe is helpful for us to know. Their vision is to help young people realize their full potential and become leaders in creating the changes they want to see in their communities and ultimately the world. I'll show you or discuss with you how they are working on achieving this, creating leaders across the world. Their approach is three-pronged. So local leadership, they work hard to support students, graduate from university, continue to support them within their communities to become leaders of change, positive change. Okay, they support such creative students to be able to come up with the solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems, especially within their local communities. Global peer-to-peer collaboration. So they have what we call the community development grants, CDGs, and then they also offer technical assistance to support scholar initiatives, regular convenings. For example, they support regional leadership structures. So we have, for example, an East African regional coordinator who is meant to take care of students and scholars within the East African region. We also have for Western and even outside Africa. So they develop regional leadership structures, global structures. So the global one is now at the level of WMI, in US. And we call them the Global Advisory Board, GAP. So still they pick from amongst their graduate scholars, intelligent people, creative people who can add to the leadership of WMI to contribute to new ideas of how to improve the scholarship scheme and other schemes of the WMI. So that's how they support peer-to-peer collaboration. And then, of course, there is what we call the DBCs, standing for Dream Big Conference. So in 2015, they came up with an idea of bringing all scholars together, both student scholars and graduate scholars. And we had our interaction in Nairobi for a whole week. That was the first ever Dream Big Conference. 3 years later, in 2018, we had a similar one in Lweza in Entebbe, Uganda. 3 years after that, we were supposed to meet in Accra last year, 2021, but COVID, as you know, hit everything standing still. So we are yet to have our third Dream Big Conference, but that is also another way they support peer-to-peer collaboration to help people grow. And then building sectors, the focus really is building local leadership in high-need sectors such as health, education, and the environment so that WMI scholars can bring badly needed resources to underserved regions and communities. So these are not only the fields they so much are interested in, but they will always be very, very interested in seeing that people grow in these sectors that will help change the world faster. Yeah, so this is just an evaluation of the WMI programs. They believe that it is crucial to ensure that they are making an impact and therefore the right impact, okay? So far, what is their impact? So as I said, so far we have about 650 documented scholar outcomes. 365 are student scholars. What is a student scholar? A student scholar is somebody who is currently studying and benefiting from the WMI scholarship. And then 285 are graduate scholars. So these are now people who have graduated and they are maybe out there working or making ends meet in other ways, such as myself. I am a graduate scholar. So anyone who is still studying supported by WMI is a student scholar. So far, 54 countries have been represented all over the world. South Sudan is one of them, Kenya, Uganda, and so on. 38,944 hours of community service have been completed by their student scholars in 2022 so far. So I'll tell you more, but briefly, as a student scholar, they require you to do some community service, and you document how many hours you have done that. 80% of student scholars have leadership positions in community and all school groups so far. So that's about 80% of these 365. 80% again are the first generation in their family to attend tertiary education. So you can imagine that kind of impact. And that is really what they are looking out for, the most needy person to benefit from their scholarship. 86% of graduate scholars so far are employed, 90% in their field of study. And of course, as I said, the others making ends meet in other ways. 35% of graduate scholars run their own nonprofit or business enterprises. Therefore, they are now employing over 275 people and serving over 12,500. So this is the continuous leadership support and community development grant things that they do for graduate scholars to be able to still continue to impact in their communities. 55% of graduate scholars are supporting the education of someone else. So out of this scholarship, ladies and gentlemen, you walk away and you are like, wow, I wouldn't have made it without WMI. If you are lucky to be blessed with some job that pays you something appreciably good, you will be like, okay, why don't I support someone? So 55% of graduate scholars are already doing that out of their goodwill. 96 community projects so far, led by graduate scholars, have been funded since 2016. So this community development grant was initiated in 2015 during the Nairobi conference, and they started picking people to support with their community projects, some little grants to begin it off. And if it goes well, they can even, nowadays, they can top you up to make it grow faster. So far, 96 community projects have been implemented already. 61% of graduate scholars serve in leadership positions, either in volunteer community or civic groups and so on, again, highlighting the importance of their interest in building leaders within their communities. There are 13 WMI fellowships. So a WMI fellowship is scholars of the same country coming together and then doing activities together. Maybe charity activities, maybe environmental related activities, things of the sort, but also maintaining their closeness, supporting each other. So far 13 countries have formed such fellowships, and so far 333 members are registered. 61% of graduate scholars are currently involved in volunteer work. 35% of student scholars have started their own nonprofit or business. 45% graduate scholars are healthcare professionals. Now, this is by trade, what they have studied and maybe what they are by profession. So 45% of them are healthcare professionals, 15% are business, 14% in STEM. So this is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields, STEM, and then 5% in law, 5% in community development, 5% in education. So that's how so far their graduate scholars are distributed per professional sectors. So what about the WMI scholarship? We've looked at the impact in various ways to understand what the WMI actually is doing and has achieved. The scholarship currently awards up to between 60 and 80 scholars applicants a year. So this year, 2022, it exceeded to about 82 successful applicants were awarded the scholarship. You can imagine that the 82 was out of 1,170 complete applications. Okay, complete applications means that the application they received has everything. Every requirement has been put in it, and therefore is good for assessment. So 1,170 complete applications this 2022, and then 82 of them were selected, giving you about a chance of 7%. You get it? So it is a very tough scholarship that is not just for anybody or everybody. And I can attest to you that during my time in 2012, 2013, when I happily received the confirmatory email that I was picked, they indicated that over 1,000 and I think 300 had applied, but we were only about 25 or 13 around there. But anyway, the percent was 1% only when I was selected. So it was really not an easy thing to believe that you're about 1% of successful candidates. So maximum scholarship most times is US $3,000 for a year. But on average, they give about 1,000 US, sorry, 1,500 a year. So this will depend on which institution you are doing your undergraduate degree and how much you pay there, the cost of living, and then whether it is a bi-semester or tri-semester. You know, there are some institutions with the 3 semesters in a year, but mostly 2 semesters in a year. Either it is semester or trimester, I wanted to say. So on average, they'll give you about this much per year. So if it is a semester-based kind of studying, this will be divided by 2. If it is trimester, it will be about 500 per trimester. But again, it depends on the cost of your tuition and other things. But the maximum they can go up to is 3,000, depending on the need they have assessed as per your scholarship. This scholarship is meant to cover mainly 3 things: tuition and other fees. You can use that money for buying books and other scholastic materials that will support your studies. If it is enough, sufficient enough, you can also use it maybe for your accommodation, for your upkeep, and so on and so forth. But these are the 3 things they really are targeting to support with the fees. They won't be accepting that you use that money for buying a laptop, for example, and then maybe for your trips and other things that may not be really related. But of course, if what you are given, for example, $1,500, depending on your course and tuition, if it is more than enough to cover these other things and even buy for you a laptop, why not? They will not stop you from doing that. Okay, they are just saying in case it is not enough, this is what they prioritize. Just briefly again about the selection for the last 5 years, and I'm comparing these neighboring countries, Kenya, South Sudan, and Uganda. So you see that 2022 total applications, these are the complete applications that were reviewed, were 1,170, total selected was 82 applicants successful, that is 7%. And out of these 82, 12% of them were Kenyan, 4% South Sudanese, and then 15% Ugandans. So you go downward for the last 5 years, and then you see how much is each of these 3 countries contributing to the pool of successful applicants. You know, 2021, 13% Kenyans, 1% South Sudanese, 16% Ugandan, and so on and so forth. So you just have an idea as a region, this side of East Africa, how well are we doing in terms of getting this kind of support, much needed support for our people. Right. So what does it mean to be a WMI scholar? Okay. Like I said, there is either a student scholar, somebody who is currently studying and is being supported by WMI, or you have already graduated from your course and now you are a graduate scholar. While you are a student scholar, you are expected to be staying in school and studying. Of course, you have to submit your semester or termly grades, depending on which system you use in your university. You will need to provide, as I said earlier, volunteer project reports. And these reports must account for at least 100 hours per year. So if you have, for example, 2 holiday cycles in a year, you are expected in each cycle of holiday, you put in about 50 hours of voluntary work. Okay. They demand that you are very honest in reporting this kind of voluntary project report, projects that you have done, okay? If you fabricate stories, because it's possible they are not watching you, it's possible you can sit under a certain tree and then you claim that you went to support, I don't know, maybe a training school by maybe teaching the nurses there, if you're a medical student, and then you claim stories and maybe a few pictures. If you fabricate them and they get to know that they were not true stories, this could be something punishable in any way, including actually dismissing you from the scholarship. They want you to be as honest as possible in reporting your volunteer projects that you have involved in. It could be anything really, whether you're maybe doing part-time with an organization, with a community organization, something that shows that, yes, you have learned a skill or two. There are things, as I said earlier, called the Global Advisory Board, GAP, Regional Leadership. Student scholars are eligible for that. So if what you are studying and the workload in class is not that much, you also want to participate actively in these leadership roles, you can always apply for that and you may be considered. In case of any Dream Big conference, student scholars are also part of it. Many times they will be provided a stipend to make them reach the venue. And then of course, they are expected to join their country's fellowship. Okay, WMI fellowship, as I explained earlier. If you are already a graduate scholar, like myself, you should be working, something like that, or doing any other thing. So you become an alumnus of, or you are now, all of you are alumni of the WMI. So you are called graduate scholars. At this stage, you become eligible for the community development grants. So in the community development grant, you write a project that, you know, from my village or in my community, I have identified this need and I would like to do such a thing and I need support. So if it is accepted, the project has clear benefits to the community, they will give you what we call a seed grant, mostly about $1,000 for you to start that idea off. And then you will be providing reports of your project, how it's going on. I think it's every twice in a year, you will be providing reports, depending on the kind of project, really. I don't want to go into the details of that. But if it is a project that is going to continue for years and you want to ask for more funds 2 years later, you will be eligible also for getting what is called the growth grants. That is for graduate scholars. Again, they are also eligible to be part of the GAP, attending DBC, and then being members of their country's fellowship. So this is what it will mean to be a scholar of the WMI. I'm also happy that in 2019, I successfully applied for a project to support refugee women in Germany, and I got the seed grant, picked off well, but again, COVID hit the idea very badly. And yeah, we are still there trying to figure out how to proceed. So it works. So what about the application process? These things here tell you what kind of ideal student scholar they will want. It could be a male or a female, they don't discriminate. And as long as you are from a country considered to be in the developing world, okay? And if you are from there, like we are in this part of the world, most of us in Africa are developing countries, then you should have successfully completed a secondary education with good grades to excellent. So they have to be between good and excellent grades. First, of course, it is such grades that will give you an admission for a tertiary or undergraduate study. By age, you should be 35 years or less by March 1st. This is the deadline for the current cycle of applications. So by March 1, 2023, you should be 35 years or less, okay? So if your birthday makes you 36 by the 2nd of March, that means you are still eligible to apply for this, all right? But if by February, end of February, you don't need to apply for this scholarship because you would have made beyond 35 by the deadline of the application, okay? So somebody will be studying in his or her country or another country in the developing world, okay? But also studies within your home nation or a neighboring developing nation is what they mean here. You don't necessarily have to study in your own country. You can study in another country as long as it is still within the developing world and you intend to be able to return to your own country to work. okay, is pursuing his or her first bachelor's degree or diploma. And I will tell you that when many of you registered over 160 something, we had to look at how many of you who registered had already achieved a first degree. We removed such people from being invited for this call because they will not be eligible even for their scholarship anyway. And then we also looked at the age. Anybody who is 36 and above already, we made sure they did not even attend this call anyway, okay? So that is one, what kind of ideal candidate they want to have. We continue with the more description. This person will be enrolled in a program of study that will benefit the community and or contribute to the continued growth and advancement of his or her home country. So you don't just join a course that will not really have any impact on your community or your country. You might not be considered for this scholarship. This person plans to live and work in his or her own country after graduation. So what is important here is dedication to home community through service, okay? Has demonstrated his or her commitment to giving back and has volunteered prior to applying. And I think a few people had interacted with me before this call regarding the scholarship, and maybe 2 or 3 of them, I told them, please, if you really want to get this scholarship, start showing signs of doing voluntary work somewhere. They are very, very much interested that you are willing to volunteer and you can contribute to changing the community, even if you are not necessarily paid. So you should have demonstrated, commitment, even if you have not done any voluntary work now that you can report about. But can you demonstrate that you will commit to this volunteer project thing, so that you can give back to the community? That is what is very key for them to consider. May have some other funds available for his or her education, but will not be able to go to pursue his or her tertiary degree without financial assistance. This again is going to be very key for them in decision making. Like they said, they will not pay beyond $3,000 US. Most times it's less than that. But if you are going to study in a course or university that will require you to pay 5,000, 4,000 or beyond that, then you need to provide clear source of additional funds that they will be sure about, that if they give you the less, the 3,000 or the 2,500 or the $2,000, you will still have another source to top up and you will continue with your education. If you don't demonstrate that ability, maybe that kind of source that will top up the little they give you, they may not consider you for the scholarship because you will not be able to complete your studies. Right, just give me a second. Okay, so that's the ideal kind of applicant and the application. Now, applications must be received by March 1st of each year. So this is always the cycle, December 1st to March 1st, to be considered for the following year's academic year. Okay. Again, just to stress this, that scholars are selected through an in-depth multi-step review process. The selected scholars will be emailed on August 1st. So every August 1st, people who have applied will know their fate, whether they are successful or not. Their names will be published on their website homepage, and also there is a Facebook page where they will also publish the same. Those who are not selected, unfortunately, will not be notified after August 1st, because the scholars, applicants are always so many and it's not so easy to get back to each of them. So they just don't get back to you. Scholars who are planning to study in the US, Canada, Australia, UK, or Western Europe, please don't even waste your time with the WMI scholarship because you will not qualify. They don't support studies in the developed world. So how can you make your application very competitive? Like I said earlier, service activities, record all of them. Think by now you should be thinking, what did I do that can be considered community voluntary service in the last 1 year, and do I have any pictures also to document it? Think about that. have the dates, the activities, time spent, photographs, and so on. All these service activities will be very helpful and can make your application very competitive. You should also have someone to proofread your essays. Key thing they will look at, okay? When you look at the application form, there are essays you need to write, including your personal statement, including some other essay they want you to write. Make sure somebody somewhere has to proofread, once, twice, and so on. Be as Can you hear me? I had dropped. Can someone hear me?
Yes, 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 we can hear you now. Welcome back.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, can someone hear me?
Yeah, we are getting you.
Please? Good. Yeah, I think I had dropped somehow. Thank you if you can hear me. Let me reshare my screen. I hope you can all see my shared screen. Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so service activities, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Proofreading your essays, always very important for spellings, for punctuations, for the coherence of the information you have put in the essay, for the sense in it. But what is most important is your essays must be very true, very real, and not a copy paste of anybody's essays, okay? Because they will always check such essays for what we call plagiarism. If you copied and pasted somebody's essay, even if they were a successful applicant previously, they will be able to tell that this essay somewhere was submitted. They will check that. So they have to be your true life story, especially for the personal statement, and also for your other essays, as we shall see in the application, describe the way you think you want to write the answer to the question. Collect the documents early. These are the required documents. I'll show you in a slide or two ahead what is required, whether they are recommendation letters, your academic papers, whatever is needed as a document. Make sure you collect and put them in one place early together. The recommendation letters shouldn't really be from someone who knows you personally. This need to be from a supervisor. If you are already if you are someone who has had some work before, you have been supervised at whatever capacity, let that kind of supervisor be the person to write a recommendation letter. Maybe a leader, local leader or whatever leader, maybe a religious leader or something, teacher. These are very important people who can always write very true things about you, and someone who knows you professionally. These are the kind of people who should be able to write about you as a recommendation letter, not just a friend, not just any other WMI scholar because you think they know someone and then if they recommend, no. It has to be somebody who will really provide honest and truthful recommendation about your abilities. So here are the requirements. For the application to be considered complete, remember I said what a complete application was. You must provide a clear personal photo. They need to see you. What do you look like? You have to have an essay, which will be a topic that is stated on the application form. So this topic may be not always the same. Okay, all essays are through a multi-step plagiarism fraud review process, and this is just what I said a few minutes back. So you need to have that essay written, 2023 application form. Please don't think that you have any application form of the past and you're using it. Every year, they may make 1 or 2 changes in the application form, and therefore you need to use the current form. The personal essay statement, 2 recommendation letters, official transcript of grades from secondary school. For this asterisk here is what I already described up there about the recommendation letters. You need to make sure they are really from the right people who can recommend you. Plus, they also have provided additional guidance to your referees or people who will recommend you for what they are looking for and what the recommendation letter should point at. Official transcript of grades from secondary school, and then official grading key to interpret secondary school grades. Now, this one, some transcripts already come with the key on it or at the back. So others may not have. For example, an A in South Sudan may not mean the same in Kenya, may not mean the same in Uganda. And then, for example, in Uganda, if it is a senior 4 certificate and you are seeing figures like 1, which is a distinction, may not mean the same in another country, which may mean a poor mark. You get it? So they always want to know that how do they interpret the grades on your transcript? So you should provide a key that will interpret. But if your transcript comes with the key already somewhere on it, whether or back, you can always scan that side of the key as a separate document, and then you will upload where the key for interpreting secondary school grades is. Okay, so you will put it at that. So that's how you get it. But if yours doesn't have it at all, then it is also now the time for you to get in touch with your institution that provided that, so that they give you how they can interpret the results. So they have to give you a key. Official transcript of grades from tertiary studies. For example, if you have already had a diploma and now you are going for a degree, so you need to provide your diploma transcript with its grades, and also a key to interpret if you have such. And then official results from your national exam, South Sudan school certificate in South Sudan, Uganda, advanced certificate of education from UNEP, for example, in Uganda, and then we have KSCE in Kenya. So all those national exams that are going to take you to the next course you want to study, you should provide the official transcripts. And then again, a key to interpret those. So every transcript has to come with the X key of interpreting the results. And then this year they have added something to do with your national ID. And I know South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, around here, all of these countries have national IDs. You should have your own, and then you also upload there. Okay, so like I said, there are guidelines for an effective recommendation letter. And then yes, the keys must be provided by the school that issues the grades or the government national body that provides the exam. Now, assuming you have every of those requirements at hand, how do you apply? There are two ways, and the most preferred is applying online on their website. And then the second way, as I'll show you in the next slide, is by post. So you mail it by post office. Okay, so you have to go to the nearest post office and then you send all the requirements to make a complete application. You pack it up in an envelope and then you send it to them using their physical address that I'll show you. So that is the second preferred option. Emailing your application will not be accepted. This is the current practice. During my time, the preferred option was post office and then email, because they didn't have the online application at the time. So as you see, things have kept on evolving. So in applying online, there is a portal where you will be asked to create a free account with a username and a password, fill out the information and upload your documents in each section that it is asked for. We strongly suggest that you apply online, as it will provide you with the opportunity to save your work and return multiple times. So you can, today you put your personal information, name, address, blah, blah, you stop there. Maybe you are still, working on your essay. Somebody is still reviewing it, or another one is still writing a recommendation. So, and then another day you can come and tell them about your secondary school grades and where you studied and things like that. You can always save and come back another time. So that gives you the luxury of reviewing your information over and over again to make sure everything you put is correct. So it will also guarantee that your application, once submitted online, will be received and reviewed. Okay, this is more or less a guarantee, sure deal. Once you have submitted and everything is completely included as required, it will be reviewed. These are the file formats for whatever you need to upload, okay? If it is a PDF, it has to be version 10 or something newer than that. But they will accept these other file types. Don't go there and put an Excel, for example, file, because it may not be acceptable. That is the applying online. The mailing, as I had hinted on, so you need to print the 2023 application, and it is your responsibility to clearly complete it and attach all required supporting documents before sending it to them, okay? Applications must be received by the same deadline of March 1st. What does this mean? It means you need to allow yourself enough time, at least 3 to 4 weeks of mailing your application before 1st of March. So if you really are going to be mailing yours by post office, make sure you do that by around end of January or early Feb, so that by March 1st, you have given it enough time to reach where it is supposed to be. If any application, because of being submitted by post office late, reaches there maybe by March 2nd or beyond there, that will not be reviewed. They will not care that you sent it by mail and therefore it is delayed. Okay, so please make sure you send one completed application. If it is incomplete or additional mailings with the supporting documents, all that will be discarded. They will not take it to the assessment. We highly encourage applicants to apply online. As I already said, it will ensure your completeness and delivery, okay? Please do not email them any application. Please do not, or even if you miss something out, and then you say, oh, I forgot, maybe one recommendation letter is here, you are sending by email. That one, just consider it discarded. If you are going to be mailing, this is the address. So it will be Bristol in Vermont. You will have to write this street number and all this address. So this is what you will write on the back, on the outside of your envelope, and you put at the post office, they will send it there. You pay, of course, the amount for sending. It will not be them to pay for you. Otherwise, WMI will always wish everyone luck in preparing their applications. You are encouraged to remember that acceptance in this program requires a dedicated interest in community service. This is just an emphasis again. Improving your nation and working within your country after graduation. These are just tips that you need to remember. Just a few timelines again. December 1st, this year was when application opened. March next year will be closing. Between April and July will be the review of applications. You remember I mentioned 2 or 3 stages. So all that will happen between there. By August 1st will be the announcement of those who would have successfully been selected. And then September will be the first installment of your scholarship to be wired. It depends. You will choose whether they send to your own account or to the institution's account, and then they will do that. You need to pay attention that the deadline is strict from December 1 to March 1 next year. Please make sure nobody asks from you money for applying, especially the online thing. It is free of charge. But like I said, if you will be posting by mail or mailing it by post office, you need to pay for the posting fee. You will get a lot of resources on their website, including the 2023 application form itself. So those who will want to print and send by post office, you can find it on this link URL, and then WMI information sheet. If you find this information sheet, a lot of the information that I may not have included here will still be covered for you there. There are also frequently asked questions by prospective scholars which have been answered. You can find it here. And then the guidelines for recommendation letters, you find them here. So all these 4 things, you can actually download them. And for example, the guidelines you can download, send to the referee, the person who should write your reference, and then they go through it. What do you do next? Please, if you really want to apply for this scholarship, I advise you to acquaint yourself with all the above resources on the website, and you can even read more from the website, as I said earlier. Start gathering all your requirements now, please. So many requirements as you saw. You start gathering them now, you are likely to put a very competitive scholarship application by next month or February. And then, of course, you can launch your application. Like I said, just creating the account, starting to put your personal information, save it, come back another day, you should start it already. Next information session, I intend that God willing on this date, 22nd of January next year, around the same time in the afternoon, like now, I will get back to some of you who would have maybe shown interest, may have already started application. That session will not be about telling you a lot like I have done today. It will just be about hearing from those who have started application, maybe if I can provide any further guidance here and there, and then hopefully it will prepare you enough to submit a very competitive application for the scholarship. Thank you all so much for listening to me. I think, Deda, at this juncture, I would like to welcome Esther KG. Are you still there? Yes, I see you are there. So please, Esther, quickly share with us a few things about the process, the application, because you are a more recent scholar, student scholar than myself. If you can share with the people in attendance how you went about it, how you got the application, how it's taking you through. Please, Esther, it's over to you. And then we'll come to listen to questions from the members. Esther?
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me.
Sure, clearly. Go ahead.
Can hear you. Go ahead.
Well, you can go ahead.
Can you see me?
Sure, we can see you. We can see you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum and happy Christmas. My name is Esther KG Isaac, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you today about my experience with the Wells Mountains Initiative program. It's I can say it's really a privilege. Well, I applied in 2019 around 2020 actually, Feb. And hopefully things were all okay with me. But things are not always as easy as we think. It needs commitment, because I can tell you how many times I almost gave up because of how the essays and how the writing, the time, the resources, the internet in South Sudan. I understand that. But with commitment, I believe that if you really have the passion to do something, you'll always commit yourself to do it. So after my application, I got a review around April and May. So I was interviewed like three times literally. So the first phase was for assessment. After your application is assessed, the interview, it could be through a Zoom meeting, could be through a WhatsApp call, wherever you're comfortable. If you're comfortable using WhatsApp, they can call you on WhatsApp or a Zoom meeting. So after the first assessment, the second one happened around May, and then the last one happened around July. I'm telling you this because it's all available in the application process. Everything they will interview you will come from your application. So whatever application or whatever essay you're going to write should be genuine, should be you. You shouldn't add things that are not real, because the questions they will ask you will come directly from what you've written. So if you give somebody else to write your essay, which is not a bad thing, but at least you should be there to know what this person is writing. And what this person is writing, is it relevant? If it's relevant, assuming you're asked or you're called for an interview, are you able to defend what you've written? Are you able to answer all the questions? What are the levels of your confidence when you're answering those questions? So all those ones will lead to how the selection criteria will be. So on 1st of August was when the results came out, and I happened to be one of the lucky South Sudanese to be selected for the Wells Mountains Initiative. So during our time, I think we were only two people were selected, one boy and one girl. So I urge all of us, if you are interested in this Wells Mountains Initiative scholarship, it's really a very good one, I can guarantee you, because it's all about the community you work for. It's all about what you want to give out to the community. So if you're willing to give back, then they are willing to help you. And that can only be done by providing what you do. Just like my colleague has said, you have to make sure at least you document whatever you do in the community. I'm very sure all of us here do things in the community. So try to, as much as possible, to take pictures, videos of whatever you're doing and document them. Another thing I would like to talk about is after being admitted, what do I benefit from the Wales Mountains Initiative Scholarship? I can say it's really very helpful, not just in academics, but also in other skills, because they do provide other services such as mentorship. Right now, I'm undergoing a mentorship program that is provided by Wales Mountain Initiative. It's called the Global Mentorship Initiative. And you can only be eligible to be a member of that Global Mentorship Initiative if you're part of the students graduate. I don't know if my colleague had that one during their time, but right now they do have it. So if you're accepted and you qualify, they give you that opportunity to apply. And if you're also selected, you're given a tutor who can mentor you and teach you on how you can apply for jobs, on how you can connect to people on LinkedIn, and how you can stay connected to people so that the job market can be easy for you to access. So I think these are some things that you can benefit as a Wales Mountain student scholar. Another thing I would like to talk about is after being admitted, I really don't think it's a hard thing if you're really committed. And I don't think it's an easy thing if you're not committed, because after the application, your job is done. But then after they review you and you happen to be lucky, I really can't call it lucky, but it's about your hard work, how much you put into it. If you're applying, make sure everything you write is relevant. You cannot be talking about yourself as I am this and I'm this and I'm that, but actually in the essay, it's not what you're talking about. So at least there has to be a line of what you're talking to what is in the essay, so that when they video call you or they call you, you can be able to give something that is related, so that it does not affect the judgment of their selection criteria. So currently I am being sponsored, and I am one of the lucky scholars who goes up to around 3,000, because in the application process, I chose to study in Kenya, and the course I decided to do is nutrition and dietetics. And funny enough, my school also has tri-semesters. So your performance plus your commitment plus your results script will give you the determination, or will give them the zeal to continue paying your fees or your tuition or everything. So after I joined my first year, initially they were paying for only 2 semesters, but then after I passed well and I did well in my studies, I can tell you right now they pay up to all the 3 semesters. And that is not just because I passed, but because I also do my community projects. Make sure you indicate the time of the projects you've done and show them the videos and photos. And you cannot just, forge and bring photos from nowhere and try putting, because of the plagiarism aspect they have. So if you put photos of which are not real, they'll definitely know, and they can disqualify you or anything. So what I can just tell you is, if you're really committed, or if you really want to be part of this scholarship, it just needs commitment. Be true, be you, just write what is real about you. And after you're selected, commit yourself to the activities they want you to do for your community and give the feedback. Your results script should be clean on how you perform in school, and then you're very good to go. I don't know if there's something I've not talked about, but in the question and answer, feel free to ask me how I maybe wrote my essays. I'll be here to assist anyone who'd like me to help them on how they can go about it. I'm not going to write for you an essay. I'm just going to tell you how you can go about and what exactly could be the most attractive things that can make your essay really stand out. Because I can tell you, Kenya and Uganda are not sleeping. I don't know if you're in the room, but almost every year they have the highest number of people. So South Sudanese, I encourage all of us to help each other. You can even be in groups of 2 or 3 if you're really willing to apply for this. Be in groups of 2 or 3 to see the things you write, to see the grammatical errors, to see the content of what you're writing, whether it's relevant or not, so that in the review process, you can at least have a very competitive essay. Otherwise, thank you. I'm already seeing somebody's hand up. I don't know if it's already time for questions, but I'll be ready for any questions that you would like me to answer. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you so much, KG, for the insights. They were very important, and you were also very articulate in trying to put across a lot of the points that you have. Looks like Leju has dropped. I don't seem to see him in the call. Yeah, but then it's time for questions. If you have questions, you can raise your hand and then ask. I think we have a hand from Silas. Silas Kenyi, what is your question? Silas Kenyi, what is your question? Okay.
Are you getting me loud and clear?
You can ask your question, please.
Yeah, I still wanted to confirm whether I'm loud. Are you getting me?
Yes, we are getting you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, let me apologize for joining late due to connectivity problems. Because I already came in when Leji has already finished the presentation and when KG was coming in. I don't know if by the end of the session, if there will be a recap of what had been spoken where the presentation had been taken through. Then so that I would love also to hear about the presentation, or maybe if possible, maybe if there's an opportunity that maybe that presentation can also be shared through email, it will be okay. Otherwise, my concern of point also goes to KG based on what we are just given us. So I would love to ask about the issue of the essay. How long will the essay be, like in terms of words, or maybe the number of pages recommended, and then the fluence of other things that's what I just wanted to ask from you. Thank you.
Okay, and then thank you for your question. He's asking about the number of pages or even the length of the essay. Good, that is noted. We have a hand from Peter Ajak. Peter Ajak, your question, please.
Okay, thank you, Bida. I have only a question, or should be like a clarification from KG. What is the problem? Why are only few South Sudanese that are always being selected? Is it because people don't know these scholarships, or is it because the essay or the writing is not clear? So what could be that exactly? Because it is too scary when you find that only two people or one person is being selected. This gives someone that you feel like there will be no chances of you being selected. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Peter Jack. Peter Jack is asking about why you think, or what reasons do you think make only a few South Sudanese to be selected? Thank you, Peter. We have a hand from.
Can I first answer maybe the two people, then the rest can come in, if that's okay?
Okay, you can answer those two questions.
Okay, I don't think I can remember the names, but I'll just give the answers directly. So one reason I think most South Sudanese are not selected, I shouldn't say really selected, because in the application process, first of all, I don't think many South Sudanese know about this scholarship. It's just of recent that people are getting to know about it. But from around 2012, 2013, up to, let's say even 2019, not many people knew about the scholarship. So the information gap is another problem. And another thing, South Sudan has, I don't know if I should say, problems with connectivity. Most of these things can be gotten online. And for you to get them online, you should have at least data. And sometimes it's really hard to get data so that you can be scrolling around, to see what is available in the internet or to see the opportunities available. So one thing I feel like is a problem is because of the information gap. So not most people get to know about the available scholarships. Another one even if they get a chance to apply for the scholarship, could be maybe the way they write the essays. You know, when you're writing an essay, you have to put some points that are really very attractive, because, you know, it's a competition. Almost everyone wants to write an essay, and everyone can write an essay. But what is that thing that will make you stand out from the rest? What is that thing that if you write can draw somebody's attention? What is that thing that when you write can just catch somebody's attention and be like, oh, this is a perfect candidate? So I feel like the way you write your essays, it's not a matter that you write a lot of things or you want to fill the whole page. You just have to be precise. Precise, I mean, go straight to the point. This is this is that, and this is this. Something very short. I'm not also saying it should be very short, but something precise, something that when I read from the first 2 lines, I understand what exactly you're talking about, not going through the bush, I'm going to this, and then I come to the point. Start with the point, and then so that when a person starts reading, they even gain the interest of what they're reading. It has to be attractive. So I think that's one point I can give you. And then I really don't remember the other question. I'm sorry, the first one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, KG, he was saying that that about the essays, how long should they be in terms of the number of pages or the number of words required?
Okay, during our time, there are words that there's a maximum and minimum words, but it's not necessarily, or it's not a must that you write up to exactly the number of words. What you have to write is exactly like the points. It could be 200 words, could be 500 words, could be 300 words, but as long as you're passing the information. But there's a word limit, like every page has a word limit. So from the word limit, let's say if you're given to write 500 words, it's not a must that you write 500 words. You could write up to around 400, you could write up to around 450 or 390, just arrange the minimum. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We have a hand from Joseph Henry. Joseph Henry, you can ask your question, and then Jack Well. Meanwhile, if you have any question, guys, you can drop either in the chat box or raise your hand. Joseph Henry.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I have very many questions here. I don't know whether the time will be enough. First of all, I want to start with the issue of the course. Like, which kind of courses do they offer? Or do they like offer general courses, or there are specific courses which you can apply for? Then secondly, I also want to know about the mode of study. Like, for there are some people who can do online, like you want to go long distance. Maybe there's a university in Kenya or Uganda, but you're in South Sudan. And then that kind of situation, is it possible they sponsor you be in South Sudan, but you study in Kenya or Uganda or what? I don't know. Then the next question is about the vacancies. How many vacancies do they have, like maybe for South Sudan or for a country that they offer to a specific country? Then the other thing is like, if I don't know if she can share with us essay, the one she wrote, so that we can also see from it, and then we learn and see how we can be able to write our own. Then another thing is like, do they like offer it only for new students or even continuing students? Because there are some people who have enrolled already in universities, but maybe they're facing challenges paying their school fees, and then they will like the scholarship. So I don't know whether that one's also possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Henry, for your questions. I'll answer the ones I can. I'll forward the rest to my colleague. I will go by the courses. From what I know, you can apply to any course that you want, okay? As much as the money they will give you will be able to pay for the course. So assuming you want to do engineering or medicine, and the amount of the school tuition is way above the money they will provide you, they'll ask you if you have another source of money that can be able to fund you for the remaining balance. But otherwise, you're allowed to apply for any course you want. Yeah, I think about the courses, that's a bit clear. You can apply for any course, but as long as you're able to top up on the other amount, if at all your school tuition is a lot. But if the tuition is maximum to the one they provide, then there's no problem. And then about the distance learning, I don't know so much about the distance because I'm a full-time student. So maybe my friend can clarify that. And the other one is about new students and continuing students. What I know is even if you're a continuing student, you can still apply, provided you're still doing your first degree. So you can apply. And of course, if you're accepted, you will have options, either the money sent to your school account or your personal account. So if the money is sent to your personal account, then it is you to decide whether I'm going to this school or I'm going to that school and how you can budget that money. Let's say if you decide to study in University of Juba and your tuition fee is, let's say $700 a year. And then if you're sent that money, let's say if you're sent $1,000 a year, you will know how to budget that money. Let's say you pay 700, you'll have 300, maybe for buying books and other stuff. Yeah, so even if you're a continuing student and you apply, you have chances being accepted.
What of the essay you asked, are you going to share it with us?
Can I come in?
I think Leju has something to add on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, Esther. Thanks so much, Esther, for stepping in ably. Internet had locked me out a bit. I'm happy I'm back. Regarding long distance studies, yes, it is supported. Full-time is supported. I have never heard of them supporting online studies. I wouldn't even think that you should try so. But if you are going to do long distance, I have known of somebody who was supported by WMI doing long distance studies, and they successfully graduated. Regarding the essays, I already saw somebody responding in the chat box to the essays. They what usually, and I really encourage you again, if you really think you want to try this out, the resources I listed out for you, including this. This is actually the application form, if you can see it over there. You see that they mention the number of words you are supposed to use, not necessarily the number of pages. A personal statement of 500 to 1,000 words, and even what they want you to talk about is listed here. Okay, and then the essay question is your opportunity to share your ideas and feelings regarding issues impacting you and your community. This is the essay question. So you are given 1,000 USD. What community improvement would you organize? Who would benefit, and so on. So it's already tuning you into the idea of how to impact on your community. And again, they say here, all work must be in English, minimum of 500 words and a maximum of 1,000 words. This is for the essays. So the same for personal statement and the essay question, between 500 and 1,000 words should be enough for you to have put out a very competitive essay. Okay, I've tried to respond to some of the concerns in the chat box. Again, please, this scholarship is for people who are trying to pursue their first ever degree. They have never had any degree before. If you already have one, you are not eligible for this. And I remember mentioning about the courses that pretty much every other course, as long as it does have gives you the chance to impact on your community. And I listed some of them: health, there is law, there's education, there's a lot of things that people can study, and there's even STEM and so forth and so on. So I think for the most part of it, most of you might be really eligible for the scholarship in terms of what you want to study. I don't know if there's any question I need to respond to that Esther did not respond to, Bida.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Leju, for answering the questions. Guys, if you have any other questions, you can ask. Otherwise, Leju and KG have been able to answer most of the questions. Do you have any other questions? There's one question in the chat box. Someone is saying that he's currently studying in India as an undergraduate student, but then in the presentation it was said that it's not possible to apply for studies in developed countries. So is it possible for him to apply from India? That is a question from the chat box.
Yeah, I'm trying to respond, Kumbe, I was muted. So India is one of the developing world countries, really. I do know of actually alumni of WMI scholarship who are Indians, so it's still allowable.
So Henryson, you can apply from India. We have a hand from
my
Jack.
concern is these ones who have not put their official name. I really don't know them, and what are they doing in the chat? I mean, please let us know you in case you are interested and you want to be supported somehow. Please change your gadgets, gadget names, please. Techno,
let me check again.
Infinite. Yeah. Why don't you put your official name so that we know you? Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I still see some hands up. Jack Quell, go ahead.
Yes. Like I'm in Cairo, so like is it possible for me to apply here? Because right here, let me say like you don't want the campus you are in, so and also you would like to change maybe to another country, for example Kenya or Uganda. Like, is that possible for me to do that? Thank you.
You want to change your study location?
Yeah, I'm now in Cairo. I'm in Cairo right
so
now.
You want to go and study in Uganda or Kenya, and you are going to start a new course or the same course, or what are you going to do?
Any other course. Like, is it possible for me to apply
with what?
With that scholarship?
Sure, you can apply. In fact, somebody had asked about continuing students. If you already are in your course, you are doing the course, and you have maybe 2-3 years to complete, and you have financial challenges, actually, this might make your application more attractive to them, assuming that you're able to defend that the additional top-up, which is missing, is what they can ably provide you. You know, that one actually improves your chances. But if you want to leave, please mute yourselves. Silas, if you want to leave Cairo to go and study in another country, for example, in the East African region, and you want to get an admission form, or you are just transferring and so forth, they should be able to support you, surely.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah. I see in the chat box somebody's asking about whether an essay is the same as, a personal statement is the same as, what is it saying? Could personal statement be meaning the same as the essay? Please, there is an essay question that is separate from the personal statement. I just showed that on the screen. I don't know if I should share it again. I'm seeing here which university or universities in South Sudan are supporting art. Otherwise, I have shown interest in the process. In South Sudan, I'm not sure if they have excluded other, but of course, the advice is you need to apply to a registered institution that the national government of the country where the institution is has registered that institution officially, and you will not enter into issues of legality of the institution later. Pursuing national certificate in computer science in Uganda, I will qualify to apply for this scholarship. Of course, yes. Is it a certificate in computer? They prefer diploma and degree. Okay, diploma and degree studies, please. A certificate, I don't think they will go for that. Silas, your hand is up.
Yes, please. Okay. I just wanted to ask a few things. One, I don't know if you didn't got it clear.
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
One, about the issue of the studying. Do they ask if one will go outside or maybe choose universities within of your choice here in Africa, then you go and continue with it or not? And then secondly,
Silas, you're not very clear. Your sound is so deeply low. I'm not getting you. What did you say?
Okay. I was like, are you not getting me? Okay. I was like, about each of the studies, about the university of the choice, yeah?
Yes.
Is it possible for one to choose, to choose a university within Africa here, or maybe go outside Africa and then study from there? That's one. Then number two, the application forms for the academic year 2020, when is it starting, and how can one get access to the application form? And then the last one is about, like, in case I want like I've gotten a certificate or a diplomable level in a different program, like let me say maybe in arts, and maybe I also pursue my degree in sciences. Is it possible for one to apply and change the career on that, or it's not possible? These are the areas I just wanted to know. I mean, it's clarification on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Silas. I'll begin with the last one. If you want to do a first degree, as long as it is a first degree ever in your life, regardless of what diploma you have in which field, I think if you put up a competitive application, they will still consider that. They are not going to restrict you that what you did in diploma is what you must continue with, okay? And then the other questions regarding when the application started and so on, I think you probably joined the call later, but I had shared all that information. Maybe for your sake, I am putting it again here. It already started from December 1st, and the deadline is March 1st next year. And for the question on studying outside Africa, this is what I said here. If you think of studying in US, Canada, Australia, UK, or Western Europe, please don't bother. They will not pick you for that. I said the scholarship is for the developing world, but I understand you joined the call late probably. Yeka, Silas, you can lower your hand. Yeka, Yeka, join. Yes,
I would like
you want
to
to add something?
a question, but I think there's a question I didn't answer earlier on.
Yes.
Somebody was asking what South Sudanese, like what is the selection criteria and how many spaces are given for South Sudanese, or what is exactly the number that according to the selection? So I would like to say the selection criteria depends with how creative and what your AC is all about. They could even decide to choose 100 South Sudanese as long as your essay is qualified to be among those who can win the scholarship. So it's just about how you write it and how you can attract the attention and how competent you are. It's all reflected in your essays. Whatever you are is reflected in your essays. So be the best person to write the essay so that whatever is in the essay defines exactly who you are. So I think the reason why South Sudanese have a bit of a lower position, like I said, it just depends with how you write your essays. Yeah.
Thank you, Esther. So there's a lot that really is considered in the application. The essays are one important part. The other part is whether you have an additional fund to top up your university fee if they give you the half of what they say they will give you. So those are other things to consider. But like you said, Esther, it is true. No country has a specific quota. This is not a government scholarship. This is just a charity organizational scholarship that they don't prefer any country. They don't say for this country we will give this number of scholarships. No. But even for government scholarships that are international, they will never assign countries specific vacancies. So it's up to you to compete with anybody from across the world to make it. I see questions in the chat box. Can you also apply if you haven't joined an admission into university prior to? So all that is the same question in different words. Yes, you can apply before you get admitted, okay? You just describe the course, but make sure you know the tuition that you will pay if you are admitted for that course. Usually if they think of selecting you, that's when they will ask for your admission form, late July there, usually when the whole assessment of the applications is done. Then they will ask those whom they want to select to provide their admission letters. That's when you can submit it. But of course, if you already have it, they will not mind you attaching it along. Will it be possible to update the list of developing countries eligible for scholarship? I think you can search that on Google. The World Bank usually classifies countries according to developing, developed, and middle income, and so forth and so on. That should be something you can do on your own, and you know which ones are developing countries. But pretty much African countries are considered developing countries. Can you please share with us the link for scholarship on WhatsApp? The whole resources will be shared, and every bit of it is in the slides there. Is national ID and passport required when applying? I mentioned that national ID or a passport, I mentioned that is one of the requirements. Leju, can you share with us the slides? Yes, they will be shared. Thank you. Yeka, you can lower your hand. Any other question that we have not responded to?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. I just have one question, Leju. I don't know whether I logged late, but I did not get what courses are they giving, what faculty. Is also arts? Do they consider art students, or they're only taking strictly science students? Thank you.
They do consider arts students as well. Okay. Yeah, did you hear me?
Yes, I get you well, sir.
Yes. So for again, those of you who joined in late, I have discussed the impact of the WMI scholarship. So this last bullet here pretty much mentions to you, okay, what they support. 45% of their graduate scholars, those who have completed their studies, belong to the healthcare profession, 15% in business, 14% in science, technology, in engineering and mathematics fields, and then 5% in law, 5% in community development, 5% in education. That's so far how their current students who have qualified, have graduated, are distributed across the different disciplines of study. So pretty much every course you are thinking about should be sponsored.
Good, great.
Looks like there's no more question now. Bida, I think
Joseph Henry has a question.
Okay,
yeah.
let them ask. Yeah, Joseph, go ahead.
My question is about the community works that we do, that we are supposed to maybe upload the pictures or videos of. For me, I did there's a community work I did with an organization. Then it was a long time ago. But for now, I'm just trying to, I work around doing other things for money, but I'm not so much engaged into community stuff for now. So I don't know, is it possible to upload things which I've done some time back, or it has to be things I'm doing currently?
Esther?
Yes, Joseph, a community service does not necessarily mean going to the community and doing things. Anything that you do and can render service to a community, or anything you do that impacts somebody's life, is a community service. Personally, I'm in Kenya, I'm a student, and the community here is not my community, but there are things I do. It could be something you're passionate about. If you're a photographer, that's already a community service, because you're taking pictures of people, and that's a documentary, that's already a service. It could be planting trees, it could be talking to people, just a session like this session. This is already a community service. So it's not necessarily you have to work in an organization or provide people stuff, or just small things that you do that can impact people's life. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Esther. So I've just posted in the chat box. Please kindly copy those links, those URLs, and use them for your own benefits. I still see people asking where to get the application form and so on and so forth. All that information is there. We have the application form up there, the scholar program information sheet. You might find more information than we have already shared with you here. The frequently asked questions, those are questions some people already asked that you may still also wonder about. You can get the answers. And then the guidelines for the recommendations. Those are 4 important resources you need to acquaint yourself with. Tombe?
Hello?
Go ahead. Your environment is noisy.
Okay.
Yeah, in case you want to ask, you can text in the chat box maybe. Oh dear, Leju Oliver. You can copy from here, but it's okay. The slides and everything will be shared.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. So I am
URLs are there.
I'm a student.
Go ahead.
I'm a student studying in Uganda. I'm South Sudanese. So right now I'm doing the Cambridge curriculum. So yeah. So my year 12 is like S5, but then also a candidate year. So right now I'm applying for for a scholarship. So I wanted to know, because by year 13, that's my final year. So I'd like to know if I'd still be given, like, if I'm accepted and is given the scholarship, then like would I have to wait to receive it, or would I just like after my year 13 just go straight away and then receive and go on onto my next choice of path?
When do you plan to apply to university?
Well, I plan to apply this year, so that by the end of next year, I would at least have a scholarship that I would use to.
So are you in senior
to
six,
join the university?
or which one is year 13? Is that senior 6 you mean, or which class?
Senior 6. Okay, the year 13 is like senior 6, but then
when are you sitting your final exams that will take you to university? When are you sitting, and when do you expect results out?
No. Okay. About my curriculum? I can use my year 12 and year 13, basically any of those grades to apply for university. So
well, if you think you have, if you think you have grades that are available with you and they will take you to a university course and do your bachelor's degree by next year, nothing is wrong about it. You can apply to the scholarship, and then you also start to look for the admission form to come in, hopefully maybe around May, June, July, so that anytime they ask you for it, you should be able to show that, yes, I've been admitted here. But while applying, you need to indicate which course you want to study, and you need to look at your grades, whether they will take you to that course, and maybe also the university of choice that you want to study in, and be able to know what is the tuition structure, and so on and so forth. So I think the summary answer for you is yes, it's possible you can apply for this scholarship if you already have grades that can take you to university. However, if you still need to sit senior 6 and maybe results will come, I don't know when, and your application process and so on will go beyond September or August next year before you get an application, an admission form, then you don't need to apply in this cycle, because you will not have an admission form before August 1. You need to have it before August 1 for you to be eligible for the award. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bida, I think some of these concerns in the chat box, you can ably handle them. People are asking for slides in their emails, on WhatsApp and so on. Do they also offer economic studies? Oh my God, we have answered that severally. Yes, they do. So please, I think, let me thank you all so much, especially those who have joined. I thank you, Esther, so much for sharing with me in this discussion. I hope as many of you who have interest in your first degree studies who have attended this call will be interested to apply. I will be happy to see or hear from the WhatsApp group how many have started application. If you do need any support from myself or Esther, I think, Bida, you may need to add Esther in the WhatsApp group later. I'm already in the group. Let's hear from you what kind of support, especially when it comes to proofreading, essays, and maybe personal statements and so on and so forth. We might be able to take a few depending on how busy our schedules will be. So the earlier somebody does that, maybe the better we can be of help. Otherwise, again, a lot of information we have not been able to give you here. Please let it be a practice for yourself to learn more from the website of WMI so that you have every other answer to whatever you are not sure about. I want to say thank you, Bida, for coordinating this. We are about 17 minutes away from our 2 hours that we agreed, but I think we can stop it here. Unless somebody has something burning that we need to listen to, I'll wish you all a very good afternoon of this Sunday. And of course, World Cup is around the corner. Make sure you support the team that will win so that you are not sad for the whole week. Chuchu, anything?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have something to say. Thank you so much. Yeah? All right.
Welcome.
I've been following it up, but the network has been interrupting me for so long. By the way, I have been trying to apply for many scholarships, but I failed to log in, and I failed also to even secure one due to the procedures that's supposed to be followed. And of course, there is one procedure that I have not, I didn't understand it well through the presentations. Whenever the scholarship of WAI come up, how will somebody like me know? And then what could be the first procedure supposed to be followed in order to acquire most of the requirements?
Thank you, Chuchu.
I think I can help with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Chuchu, and I'm happy that you're one of the first girls who have texted. I was wondering what happened to the girls in the building. So you can follow the pages for Wales Mountains Initiative so that you can get all notifications on when the scholarships, if there are activities or events or anything. As long as you follow them, you will definitely know, because obviously they post from every beginning of the scholarship, they will post the date of the closure, they will post. So if you're connected to them through their page, you can be able to access when. And also you talked about how the procedures you need to know. Obviously in the website, like the resources were given, if you log in into that website, you will see all the requirements you need. How you, the application, the essays, the personal statements, the documents you need, like your passports or your ID cards, all that information is there. You just need to go into the website and read them. Or if not, you just follow the page so that you can get all the information you need. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add, for your information, Chuchu, the application cycle has already started since the 1st of this month, and it will end, deadline is March 1st next year. So you are within the cycle to apply. I don't know, I'm seeing more hands up. We may not really answer every question here, ladies and gentlemen, but we can continue to interact. In case you're accepted in a university in Kenya and you got WMI, are they the ones to get the transport? Probably no. You have to find your own way to the university. Like I said, there are things they want their tuition, their amount, their funds to support.
Before you go, I want to say something.
Just relax. Tuition, other fees, and then scholastic materials and books. Okay, so please, things like transport, I don't know, trips here and there, they don't expect their money to be used for that. So you have to make sure you have that. Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't have much to say, but I just want to thank you so much, for giving in your time, at least to, to bring us together so that we'll have this knowledge. I believe these few people who have attended this very important, session, we will believe that in future we'll find our South Sudanese getting this opportunity, because it's very important. I really like it. And for me, I will be trying, as long as I'm in the age, in the range, before I meet 35, I think we'll try again, so that by the time you have to know where you have gone wrong and all this. So maybe, by luck, you can also get it. And then you also be one of the beneficiaries, for us, to help South Sudanese. So thank you so much. And also thank you, KG. And lastly, also to Bida, who have coordinated this. Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters. May God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.
Before that, there's a question from Tabu. I'd like to hear that question. She has been raising her hand like forever. Tabu Monica.
Thank you. Yeah, Tabu, welcome. Thank you, Peter, for appreciating, right? You may lower your hand. Tabu? Tabu, are you there? Okay, the hand has gone. Silas? Silas, anything? Okay, I think we will wrap it up there. If you are not in the WhatsApp group, Bida has shared the link to the WhatsApp group. I would like to once again thank you, everybody. And Peter, of course, you're right. You have to keep on trying. it's good to remain hopeful that one day you will be among the lucky ones. Bida, please, I think we have talked so much. Let me stop there for today. I want to thank everybody once again, and I look forward to acting with you and some